name is, how old you are, and what you do as a job.
Hello, my name's Jacob Hinz, and I am a service technician for a refrigeration mechanic, if you want to call it that, and I'm currently 31 years old.
Awesome, thank you. So what are your roles and responsibilities in your job?
So basically, I'm on the road, being a service technician, so I'm not based in one spot. I get called out to different jobs in different locations, and you're pretty much on the tools all the time. There's a little bit of paperwork involved, but it's a lot of sort of mechanical sort of work. Most of the work I do is industrial and a little bit of commercial, which involves like supermarkets, large manufacturing. So it's pretty integral, pretty involved. Normally have a few other people involved, electricians, plumbers. It's not just me normally on site. And yeah, basically that's a summary of it quickly.
Awesome, thank you. So how long have you been in your current job?
So I'm coming up to 11 years so far in this role.
Okay, and is it your first job? Did you do something before, or did you have a change?
Yeah, I changed. I was working at a supermarket. I was a manager of a supermarket.
Yeah.
And I did that. I worked in the supermarket for 7 years, and I did it full time for about a year.
Okay,
before
great.
I did.
And when you were at high school, what subjects did you do, and why did you choose them? Was it because you knew you wanted to do this, or for other reasons?
No, so basically in high school I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did pick, I did accounting, I did media, and then I kept obviously English and maths, but my main ones here were, I did woodwork, media, multimedia, I don't know what it's called now, and accounting. The media, I think I wanted to get into a bit, well, I thought I wanted to get into something in that when I was younger. Didn't really go anywhere with it. The accounting and the mathematics, glad I kept. Just helps with running a small business, and just there's a lot of figures, numbers, working out, calculations in my job, which doesn't, they're not, you don't have to be really switched on to do it, but it helps doing it at school.
Yeah, awesome. So once you finished, did you have to do any extra study when you left school to get your job, or could you go straight into your job?
No, so you basically, depends how you want to do it. You could do a pre-app at school. So you could start while you're finishing school, you could do 1 day a week at TAFE and not have a job, but just do like a stepping stone. What I did was obviously finish school, started another job, then decided I wanted to do this. So I found an employer, and then from there, I started an apprenticeship. So you do 3 years at school. So it's 1 day a week at school, 4 days a week at work. And the 4th year, you work full time, but you're still technically a student. So it's basically 4 years to become a qualified mechanic.
Beautiful. And what's the name of that qualification that you got at TAFE?
So it would be a Certificate 3 in mechanical engineering is what it is. But it also, in my trade, you do a little bit of some other things. So at the end of your trade, you'll get it used to be called a D license. So it's like a disconnect, reconnect electrical license, and you also have a basic plumbing license.
Great. Okay. And how much do you earn in your job?
So depending who you work for, what field, if you were to go into domestic, it would be a bit less. But if you got into sort of the industrial commercial side of it, which is what I'm on currently, once you finish your apprenticeship, you could quite easily earn 75,000 base, and then if you wanted to put in overtime and get in with one of the bigger companies, you could quite easily earn up to 100,000 a year.
Awesome.
No worries.
And is there high employment opportunities in the field?
If you specialise, I think there's good employment across the field. So from anywhere from putting in air conditioner in someone's house to the top end stuff. But I think if you specialise and do something like industrial, which involves ammonia and a few other specialised things, you'll always get a job.
Okay. And so could you tell me what's hard about your job, but also what do you like about your job?
So me personally, I help run this small business. So I think the hardest part would be dealing with the customers directly. So just logistics, working out jobs, dealing with some of the accounts, and even just dealing with people directly, like the bosses. So you're accountable basically for what you do.
Yeah.
But I like doing it. I like moving around. I don't think I could sit in an office. This job's good. I have a car that's set up for work that I can drive anywhere, and our work takes us from one side of Melbourne to the other. I could be in Geelong one day and I could be in Wangaratta the next day. That's the thing I like about it.
Awesome. And so if someone was going to get into your job, what traits do you think are good to have in that job?
Well, I suppose first if you were going to go start out and just straight into the job, you've got to be reliable, because bosses aren't going to, I don't think it's like a retail or something. Bosses aren't going to put up with you not showing up for work. They're not going to put up with a lot of sick days. It's not going to matter if you know what you're doing or not at the beginning, because no one does, but as long as you show up, then I think you'll be fine. But you'll have to be reliable, and you've got to be a bit attentive, because it can be pretty involved and it can be dangerous, because you deal with like a lot of electronics in what I do, a lot of high pressure things. So if you're not watching what you're doing, if you're just there because you want something to do, it's not the thing for you. You need to be switched on.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you spoke a little bit about traveling from one side of Victoria to the other, but is there any, with your job, where can it take you? So is there any other travel opportunities? Is there higher positions you could go to?
Yeah, so depending what sort of company you get into, you can make your way up. So you'll start off as a service technician, which you'll be on the tools, and depending who you work for, a lot of the bigger companies will actually send you. You could be anywhere in Australia. So some of the bigger companies, bigger than us, obviously, if you're happy to travel, they'll fly you all over Australia to do jobs. And some of the companies actually do a lot of international work. So I know a few companies that do a lot of work in Southeast Asia, and they'll fly technicians over there to do jobs. So you can move around. A lot of work in the mines, so either in Western Australia, Queensland, even the mines in Victoria. So you can have the opportunity to move around. And a lot of people like doing that, because you basically get paid extra. You live away from home, you get paid an allowance for that. And it's good. I think people like it. It's good morale when you go away. You know, you normally work with a team of people. They'll stay in hotels. They'll go out for dinner every night. Obviously, they've got to do a full day's work. It's hard work. It's long work, but it's better than being in an office.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jacob.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.